Hey guys, welcome to the PXP podcast. Today we're going to be covering just a little bit about myself. This is episode 1, so I just figured we would allow you guys to get to know your host a little bit, figure out how I tick, what my experience level is, what we're going to be talking about, where I came from, who I am, all that good stuff. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. I can't thank you enough for listening and supporting the channel, the podcast channel. Very much appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get started on this, man. So my name is Zach Wallace. I live here in Montana. I won't say exactly where, but I'm sure you guys will figure it out eventually. Yeah, so I grew up as a normal dude, normal kid, playing around with the neighborhood kids, nothing special. Um, and Went to high school. Had a big interest in long range shooting when I was um, about that 13, 14, 15-year-old age. And, my father got into it pretty deeply as well. And one day we both decided just to go buy some guns. So off we went to, I think it was Cabela's, and there we went. And we both ended up getting it was a factory rifle, Savage 10T Tactical. I think it had like an 18-inch barrel on it, black synthetic stock, and then we threw some SWFA scopes on there. So pretty low end type of setup just to get started in it, and that's kind of where my journey started in this whole long range shooting realm. I there wasn't a whole lot out there to kind of figure out what to do. I mean, this was back in 2003, 2004, 5, somewhere in there. And there wasn't a ton of YouTube channels. The technology for ballistic computers was kind of just really starting for the most part. It was pretty new. I didn't know how to get started. We were both learning. We were both figuring it out on our own. And the only thing that we really had was YouTube. And like I said, YouTube didn't have a ton of that stuff out there. So um, and we would go to the range, try to figure out our dope. We had very very low end chronographs. Um, we started out with factory ammunition. My father kind of got into reloading, so that's where I started learning how to reload my own ammunition. I was about 15 years old or so. And that's where I picked up reloading as well. And man, it's been a journey. It's been like close to 18 years now of reloading and precision shooting. And um, it's been quite the learning curve. And the whole point of this podcast and for Precision X Productions is to cut this learning curve and down to close to nothing for the listeners out there. The technology that's out there, the information that's put out there is absolutely phenomenal now. And I just want to be kind of a gateway for people learning how to do this, to get this information easily and accessible. I'm open for questions. I'm open for all sorts of stuff. I have a website, precisionxproductions.com, that's here out of Montana. I travel around and put shooting courses on. I do individual sessions. I do big classes and all sorts of stuff. So anyways, back to my journey. So yeah, and after shooting, 300 yards, we're wanting to shoot long range, right? That's the whole point of this thing. And so what we would do is we'd go out to, some block management land or some state land or whatever we could find that was public land that was legal to shoot. And we would, pick a rock. way out there, and we'd range it and we'd shoot, and of course we'd be way off and we wouldn't know why, and it was all sorts of frustrating. And I had no idea that temperature, humidity, and elevation and all this sort of stuff played a huge factor, and I was just guessing. And eventually I'd be able to hit the target, but I wouldn't know why. I wouldn't know what the issue was and why, like, my dope, like data on previous engagement, wasn't lining up. And then I went through the oh, I forgot to mention that the reticle that I was using in that scope was it's just a regular mil dot reticle. That's pretty much what the popular thing was back then, was just a regular mil dot reticle. And the funny part is the reticle was mils, obviously, and the turrets were MOA. That just added to the problem. So thank God nowadays, scope manufacturers, there's they just they make sure that they match up. And yeah, that took out a lot of confusion there. But okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. um God, there was years and years and years in there where I just couldn't figure out like a good program to use that was accurate, and I couldn't find any information out there that told me exactly like what I needed to do. And I was, really young, and instead of sitting down and doing all the research, I just wanted to go out and shoot and figure it out myself, which just obviously extended my learning curve. And I did that for many, many years. I rifle hunted. I was a very proficient rifle hunter, obviously to the 2, 3, 400 yard range. And yeah, so that's kind of what I did for a really long time. And after I graduated high school, I had a very big interest in law enforcement. My father's been in law enforcement for 32 years now, so I grew up with him doing that. He was a canine officer for many years. He was a SWAT officer, SWAT commander for many years. So I got a really good exposure for what law enforcement was about, how they operate, their values, morals, and ethics, and all sorts of stuff. And I wanted to emulate that. I thought it was great, a very honest job. And yeah, so I went down that path, and in 2000 and gosh, it was 2010, I became a reserve for the local sheriff's office. And with the reserve program, you wear a badge and a gun. You do the exact same thing as the normal deputies do, minus a couple things like you can't investigate DUIs and stuff like that, because you have to be DUI certified, and that happens at the academy. Um, and they put us through like this 3-month reserve training program. And yeah, that's what I did for a year and a half. Absolutely loved it. Still was doing the long range shooting thing on the side. And it was a pretty good deal. And the cool thing is that I could pick up security details where they would have a concert here in town, or something was going on and they needed security. Well, reserves could pick that up for the same overtime that full-time deputies could, which was really cool at the time. That's changed since, obviously. But that's how I paid for a lot of my bills. And no, it was great. I absolutely loved it. It got me hooked in the law enforcement world. And after that, I knew I wanted to go full time. So I applied for a department that was in a county next to us. It was the sheriff's office. Got hired full time there, and it very much enjoyed the job. It was great. I loved it, but I wanted to work at the police department here back home. And so that's what I did. I applied a year and a half later. I went to the academy, and then after I got back from the academy, I applied with the police department here, and I got hired, and I've been here for 11 years since. So I have, I guess, total law enforcement experience, with my reserve experience is close to 14, 15 years or something. Full-time experience is like 13 years. So yeah, ever since then, that's what I've been doing. I've been pushing around a car and going to calls and all sorts of stuff. The job's very hard. It can get to you sometimes, but you have to keep the mindset of why you're out there, right? So, fast forward a little bit. I was in the meantime here in my whole law enforcement career, I've been absolutely obsessed with hunting. and it's morphed into like from a rifle hunter to an archery hunter. So now I'm almost strictly archery hunting. Um, Minus little caveat in there: if I don't get a deer during archery season, I will definitely rifle hunt. And I love to hunt antelope with a bow, but I also love doing it with a rifle. So that's pretty good. We'll get into that here in just a little bit later. But so back in, oh god, it had to have been 2016. I became a field training officer for the police department. I needed a change. I needed something more. I believed I was very knowledgeable about the job. I was very good, very safe, and I love to teach. I very much love to teach. So I became a field training officer. I did that for a while, and then I became a taser instructor. CEW, conducted electrical weapon instructor. So that's what I do now as well. And then in 2017, um, I felt like that I needed some more. I felt like I was very tactically inclined. I worked very well in a team. I was very proficient with my weapons. I was very knowledgeable. I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to de escalate. I knew how to do all these things, right? And I was very motivated for work. And so I thought that the SWAT team would be a very good idea. And so in 2017, I applied for the SWAT team and tested. They have it's a physical test, and then you got your shooting evaluation, you have an interview, and then you have a scenario based stuff. And they do this all back to back, so it's kind of very fast paced. You don't really have a whole lot of time to think about anything. So, anyways, there was God, I don't know, 8 or 9 applicants, and I was number 2 out of the 3 that they took. So, fast forward a little bit there, and I, with my long range shooting experience, I've obviously gained a lot of knowledge over the, 10 or 12 years, 15 years, or yeah, 10 or 12 years that I had been doing it at that time. I'd been reloading that whole time. I was able to figure out how to effectively reload ammunition to make super accurate, consistent ammunition. I was shooting long range. I obviously had upgraded my rifle and all sorts of stuff. I had a better understanding of ballistics, how to get my dope lined up with what was actually happening to my projectile while it was flying through space and time. I was able to do all these things. I figured out the absolute best way to the fundamentals of marksmanship, how those applied, how to apply those subconsciously, to the point where you're not thinking about doing these things, doing it off of, positional shooting and all sorts of stuff. And so I felt like that, due to my experience there, I'd be a really good sniper. So went to my lieutenant, and the SWAT commander at the time, and I said, hey, I want to go to sniper school. And sure as shit, just a couple months later, I was in sniper basic, and that was really good. I excelled during sniper basic. It was very good experience. Very much enjoyed it. I loved the professional side of precision shooting, and I felt like I would excel at it and do great. Little did I know that it would pretty much overtake my entire life. I mean, not just the professional side of sniping and stuff like that, but also through the hobby side, my personal side. And this was just another way to be able to do the thing that I absolutely love, both at work and at home, and it was great. I very much enjoy it. So uh, year or 2 in, of being a sniper, I did very well. We'd go on live operations, and they would take a senior sniper and put him with me. I got to learn the ropes that way. Did it dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times, to the point where now I am the sniper team leader for the SWAT team, and it's been great. I've changed up a little bit with the sniper program. Done some stuff there. I still currently am a police sniper with the department that I'm at, and it's been great. It's very challenging work being a team leader for the sniper unit. I don't get to train a whole lot since I'm actually facilitating the training. And but that's okay because I train on my off time all the time, more so than I actually don't know anybody else that on the team that really shoots more than I do. So I get my own training on my own personal time, and yeah, it's been fantastic. I absolutely love it. So let's dive a little bit down deeper now on what I've been doing lately. So the past couple years, I have been um, I just I felt like I needed an edge. I felt like that I needed more training. I needed an edge. I needed to kind of surround myself with like-minded people that absolutely loved precision shooting. And so I started doing some research, and I found out that there was a competition series here locally that encompasses several states. It's like Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Idaho, Colorado, like all these states, right? It's a fairly big series with hundreds of shooters in it. And I was like, fuck, man, like that's a really good idea. This would really give me an edge, and I'd learn a lot and all sorts of stuff. So talked to my wife, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna dive down into this a little bit. But the only rifle that I had was my 308 rifle that I use for work. And I started doing some research, and I figured out that a lot of these shooters are shooting like race gun style stuff. So they're shooting like 6 Creedmoors, 22 GTs, 22 Creedmoors, 6 BRs, 6 BRAs, like all these small caliber rifles. Well, then I found out there's a tactical class that I can compete in that's like 308s and 223s. Obviously, there's a little bit of a disadvantage shooting a 308 and a 223, so they shoot in their own class, which I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, that's not what I did. I still shot in open. I felt like I'd still do good. I shouldn't have done that, but anyway, so go to my first competition, and man, I had such an ego. I was like, man, I'm a police sniper. I'm gonna be able to knock this stuff out of the park. But this is a whole different ball game. Man, I did not understand what I was getting myself into. So my very first competition was in Three Forks, Montana. The wind was like 35 freaking miles an hour, and I had never like really shot in the wind. And then the reticle that I was using on my scope, it's a Night Force Attacker, and it's an MOA, which was my first problem. And there's no Christmas tree, so I can't really do holdovers or anything. I can, but I'm kind of shooting in the middle of nowhere and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, so and the reticle's just I think it's God, I can't even remember what the reticle's called on it. I've kind of transitioned into the Vortex Gen 3 scopes. But anyways, I ended up like, God, it was out of 70 shooters, and I ended up like right at mid pack. It was like 31st or 32nd or something like that. And the group that I was shooting with, we call them squads. So you get squads, and they start on, like, if I'm squad one, I start on stage one. And the squad that I was shooting with was freaking awesome, man. They were very, very good about showing me the ropes, how to run the tablet for scoring, how to call, how to be the RO for that stage, and how to call impacts, how to be a spotter, how to shoot in the wind. And they were making wind calls for me since I was a new shooter. And man, it was just great. And I will tell you this, if you are interested in getting into long range shooting and you want a really, really fast learning curve, find somebody to instruct you and then go to some competitions. And I guarantee you that first year of you doing this, you are going to learn just as much as I have over the past 18 years of trying to figure this shit out on my own. So apps like if you're not going to do that and at least go to one or two competitions just to learn, not to compete, but just to learn, man, you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that. I highly, highly, highly recommend that. And I tell that to all of my students because it is the absolute cheapest way to train. It's the cheapest way to learn because you're paying anywhere between 50 and $80 to go shoot 10 stages or so. And you're surrounded by, and then just make sure you squat up with A class shooters. I don't know how other classes work where you guys are at, but for us, it's like A, B, and C. I was an unclassified shooter, and I made sure to squat up with A class shooters. And man, like, I've never met one person in this shooting industry, the long range precision shooting industry, that wasn't an amazing individual, that was a wealth of knowledge. Even if they're a C class shooter, they're going to have a wealth of knowledge. So you're going to learn like how to positional shooting. You're going to learn how to set your dope right. Like, these guys are great. They're going to be fighting to help you because we want this sport to grow. And yeah, they're going to go out of their way. So anyways, man, and that's where I found my edge in law enforcement policing, as far as getting that little bit of extra edge where I felt like I was highly proficient with my rifle, in the unfortunate event that I had to use it. And so, and after my very first competition, I became 110% hooked. I came straight home. Even though I didn't do that great, I was mid pack. I came straight home and I told my wife, I'm like, yep, this is what I want to do. And, the rest is pretty much history now. I've done all sorts of competitions around all sorts of states and got myself one of these race guns. These guys are shooting 6 Creedmoors and 6 GTs. I'm like, heck, that's what I'm going to do. So I went and built a 6 Creedmoor and got a Masterpiece Arms chassis for it. Got a custom barrel. I got a Vortex Razor HD Gen 3. That all sounds really expensive, and we're gonna have future episodes on how to actually get into this sport in the cheapest way, like a budget long range competition / hunting rifle. And if I were to do it all over again, that's where I would start. I wouldn't start completely from the point that I did, even though I already had rifles for hunting and I had a professional rifle set up for work. I didn't need a rifle that was going to fit the bill for all of those. So I built a gun specifically for competition. And it's been great. I shoot a 6 Creedmoor. I reload my own ammo. And the only thing that I got to say about the 6 Creedmoor is that it's a barrel burner, guys. I wouldn't go down the 6 Creedmoor route unless you got money to spend on barrels. I'm on my second barrel that I put on. God, I made that last one. My last barrel. Oh my God. So typically, those barrels will last anywhere between 1,800 and 2,200 rounds. I put over 3,000 rounds on that, my last barrel, and it was not good. So I definitely recommend a caliber that you could shoot anywhere between 2,500 and like 5,000 rounds, and that's going to last you a while, depending on how much you shoot. So if I were to do it all over again, I would shoot either like a 6 GT, 6 BR, the 6 ARC advanced rifle cartridge. That's actually probably the route that I'm going to be going to here soon. Once I'm done with this one, I have one more 6 Creedmoor barrel lined out that's sitting in my closet ready to get spun up. Once I'm done with my current barrel and then that barrel, that's where I'm going to go. So anyways, we'll dive into all that stuff later. I have another point to cover here. So once I started getting into the competition world for centerfire shooting, I started noticing that, man, components are like the price of components are going up quite a bit, and it was costing quite a bit of money out of pocket for sure to shoot as much as I wanted to. And I slowed down on competitions a little bit. Instead of doing like, 2 a month or whatever, I went down to 1 a month just to save on money, travel, components, all that sort of stuff, burning out my barrel. And I was like, man, I want to shoot more. And the problem with the 6 Creedmoor is, you go to the range and you want to shoot 60, 70 rounds to practice every weekend. And, that's a decent portion of your barrel life right there. And I'm like, God damn, I'm going to have to be like fucking have like 4 or 5 fucking barrels on hold all the time, or at least getting them spun up and sent to me. And so I met this awesome individual. His name is Shane Scott. He's the president of the Pro Series, which is the Precision Rimfire Outlaws here in Montana. And the Pro Series is big. It's actually bigger than the WPR. The WPR is the series that I was shooting in. I forgot to mention it's the Western Precision Rifle. And so if you guys are in the area, check it out for sure. It's great. So I met Shane, and he mentioned getting into the rimfire shooting. And I'm like, man, I don't know, that's kind of dumb. And I'm like, I'm not really into the 22 stuff. And then I ended up meeting one of the other buddies of his that does the Pro Series stuff, and his name is Trevor Cunningham. And he got a hold of me and was really pushing the 22 stuff too. And this was about almost 2 years ago now. And so Trevor kept texting me, hey, you need to come out to a comp. You can use my rifle. You need to come out to a comp. All this sort of stuff. And I'm like, fuck. So I finally went. And I'm like, this is dumb. Like, I'm probably not gonna do good because I don't know how to fucking shoot a 22 that well and all sorts of stuff and all this shit. Fucking long story short, I won my first, 2 or 3 competitions. I got first place. It wasn't out of a whole lot of shooters. It was like, I don't know, probably between 20 and probably like around 20 shooters. And it absolutely fucking hooked me. It was awesome. And the ammo's cheap. The rifles are the exact same as centerfire competition rifles. And it's just cheaper to shoot. It's cheaper to train. And every time I go out and shoot my 22, I'm still getting reps on barricades. I'm still getting reps on, sight picture. I'm still getting reps on the fundamentals of marksmanship. I still get to use my Kestrel and figure out my dope and do all my things, but I'm not going to burn out this fucking barrel because you can't really burn out a 22 barrel. There's no heat involved, and that's what destroys centerfire barrels is heat. And so I absolutely got hooked on it, man. And I pretty much solely did 22 competitions for like almost the past year now. And yeah, it's been great. I actually qualified for nationals, the 2023-2024 nationals. And it's from the 22X series. I can't go, unfortunately. This is my very first year of actually competing in the 22X series. And I qualified, got the email, said that I got the invite because they only invite people with a certain score or higher to this. And I can't go. I'm going on vacation. So we've had the vacation planned for too long, and I didn't want to piss off the wife and all sorts of stuff. And I've already been gone a lot lately for competitions and stuff. So I was like, it's not that big of a deal. So, but anyways, yeah, it's been fun. You don't need to wear ear pro. You don't need to sit there and pick up all your brass. It's just fun. You could bring your kids along. They don't need to wear ear pro. They could shoot your rifle, and this is a good way to get them into the sport as well. And that's what I've kind of done. My kid comes with me to a lot of competitions. I show her how to spot impacts. She gets to shoot a little bit. She gets to run around, see everybody. It's just great. I very much enjoy it. And then on top of that, the courses for rimfire are a lot smaller. So instead of walking a mile down range or to get from like stage 1 to stage 8 on a centerfire course, or not a mile, maybe like half a mile or whatever, you're walking 200 or 300 yards. Everything is really close. There's just a lot of pros to it. And the only con that I could really think of with rimfire shooting is you're just not getting the same recoil management skills. And then other than that, you're just not shooting targets super far away. But wind still applies. like big time applies to 22 shooting, and everything else applies. So if you have a centerfire competition rifle or a centerfire hobbyist rifle, and then you have a 22 rifle, you could practice and do the exact same stuff. Your kids could shoot it. The ammo's cheaper. Yeah, you still get to use your Kestrel or whatever ballistic program that you're using to figure out your dope. And yeah, so like a high quality box of 22 ammunition for 50 rounds is like $15. Like 50, like right around there. You can get cheaper ammo that works just like pretty damn well as well for like $10. So when I'm buying ammunition online, I'm buying like 1,000 or so rounds at a time. And when I go shoot at the range, I'm shooting, God, like 200 rounds. You can't do that on a center fire barrel. You're going to burn the shit out of that thing. So, and that only might be like 3 or 4 hours, of 200 fucking rounds of, zeroing dope, or dope verification. And then you're doing stages over and over and over and over again, and it's great. So, 22 shooting is awesome, guys. But yeah, no, the center fire is what lies close in my heart for sure. But I definitely take advantage of the 22 stuff. So, other than that, I got a wife and a little girl. Yeah, so that pretty much covers my own, I guess, how I tick, what makes Zach Wallace. And yeah, so anyways, guys, hope you guys have a awesome Memorial Day weekend. That's coming up here shortly. And thanks for listening to the podcast. Next episode is going to be coming up here very shortly. Thank you guys for listening. Please get on precisionxproductions.com. Check out the content. Check out oh shit, I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, so here in, oh god, it had to have been about 6 months ago, I decided to start Precision X Productions. And that is a business that's just focused on precision rifle courses. I thought about dabbling into the pistol stuff due to my experience, and then the M4 stuff, but I do too much of that stuff to where it's just not, it's not really fun to me anymore. I still like to teach it. Like if somebody wants to learn that stuff or really requests that, they want me to teach them, 100% I will. I've thought about doing concealed carry courses and all sorts of stuff, but I know there'd probably be a little bit more money in that for sure, but I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to teach because I just want people to love what I love, and I want them to I want to show them why I love it. And and that to me is precision long range shooting, because there is nothing more satisfying than putting a bullet through time and space and making it hit exactly where you want it to hit. So anyways, I do precision rifle courses. I do like big classes where we'll cover like introduction to precision rifle stuff. I do positional course stuff. Yeah. So, and then I also do individual sessions. So you can give me a call, or you don't need to give me a call. You can go online there, check out the availability, and you can select the date and the time that works well for you, typically on a weekend, because I still work. I'm still a working man. So, and usually everybody's off on the weekend, so it kind of works out. But you pick whatever date and time that you want, and yeah, we both show up and we do a one-on-one session. And I figure out what your kind of knowledge base is at the very beginning, what you want from this instruction and coaching. And we just shoot and have a great time and smoke and joke and shoot bullets. And you walk away from, let's just say you're a brand new shooter, brand new rifle, never shot long range. You walk away from that course being able to effectively take apart your rifle, put it back together, effectively zero with 12 rounds or less, obtaining ballistic data, environmental data, and long range verification, You learn how to do that, and then you learn how to shoot in the wind. And that's just like a basic introduction. But you walk away understanding and knowing how to confidently shoot up to 1,000 yards consistently. Knowing what your bullet's doing, knowing what your kestrel's doing, knowing how to shoot in the wind. I teach you how to use gun number. I won't dive into that now. But gun number basically allows you to shoot in the wind accurately without using your kestrel. Just knowing the wind speed pretty much. So super, super, super good information. Really good for hunters and competition shooters. So anyways, check that out. All right. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for listening. Get on the website, check it out. Yeah, the next episode is going to be posted here very shortly. I'm going to try to blast like, I don't know, 2 or 3 out there at a time for you guys to listen to. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 1. Very much appreciate it. And I'm out.